Welcome to Q&A, Social Security Disability Today. This program is brought to you by the Reeves Law Firm, representing you and your Social Security and disability needs. If you have a problem or questions regarding Social Security and disability, call attorney Anthony Reeves. Here's your host, attorney Anthony Reeves.
What type of question should you expect in your Social Security hearing? I actually had someone post this question to me because they said they knew that I'd actually talked about this before, but I had realized that I hadn't done this in a number of years. So let me go ahead and tell you. For those of you who are going into your hearings, it usually falls under one or two circumstances. Either you're going in with a representative or you're going without a representative. If you're going in with a representative, I'm going to tell you right now, I defer to your representative. Ask them, and let me tell you why. Because typically what they're going to do is they're going to prepare you for the hearing. They're going to ask you all kind of questions in anticipation of what you need to do in order to prove you're disabled. And they're also going to let you know what the judge is going to ask you if the judge chooses to ask you his hearings as well. Now that's if you have a representative. So for those of you who are watching this, if you have a representative and you're like, what do I have to expect? I'm going to tell you, talk to your representative first. Now, for those of you who don't have a representative, here's where it gets more interesting. First, when you walk into the room, there is either going to be a minimum of 2 people or a maximum of 4. Now you ask, what do you mean by a minimum of 2? Well, there's going to be the judge, and the judge is going to have a hearing monitor who's going to be in there recording the hearing. Everything you say is taken under oath. So he or she is going to take your testimony under oath. They're going to explain to you what's going to happen in the hearing, meaning they're going to tell you, in order for you to be found disabled, you have to satisfy the 5-step sequential evaluation, which is basically the steps that Social Security has to follow in order to find you disabled. What they're going to do is they're going to explain those steps. They're also going to tell you that you have the right to have a representative. In some instances, in most instances, the judges will tell you if you do not feel that you're comfortable to proceed going forward, it's to your advantage to ask for a postponement to give yourself a chance to find an attorney or representative. If by some chance you choose to proceed and you waive your rights, this is an important thing. If you decide that you're going to go ahead and do the hearing without having a representative, then what the judge is going to probably do is ask you a series of questions related to your situation. They're going to ask you how old you are. They're going to ask you how far you went in school. They're going to ask you what type of educational background you have. Did you get a high school diploma? Did you go to college, military, trade school? They're going to ask you your living circumstances. Do you rent? Do you own? Do you live by yourself? Do you live with someone? They're going to ask you about, do you drive? They're going to ask you, how do you get around? They're going to ask you probably what's your height, your weight. Are you right-handed or are you left-handed? Now you say, I'm pausing and you're probably saying, why are they asking me this? Well, let's kind of go back for a second. First of all, they need to know what category you fall in for purposes of the Social Security Administration in terms of age ranges. There's 18 to 49, which is younger. This for a kid's case is a little different, but for an adult, it's 18 to 49 for a younger individual, 50 to 54, closely approaching advanced age, 55 to 59, advanced age, 60 to 64, closely approaching retirement age. So they're going to get the age portion for it first. Second thing they need to know is they need to know what your educational background is, because that's one of the elements they look at for purposes of your ability to do other work. So they're going to want to know, did you go to high school? Did you graduate from high school? Did you go to college? Did you get any trade school training? Did you get any skills from college or the military? They're going to want to know about your height and your weight. They're going to want to know about your right hand or your left-handed. Why? Well, height and weight is going to have a bearing depending on what your impairment is. right or left hand is going to have a bearing with regards to if you're having any limitations with your hands and your right hand or left hand dominant. They're going to ask about the work that you've done in the past. Now, keep in mind, you don't want to sugarcoat that part. You don't want to just say, oh, I did this. You want to describe in detail what you did. So let's say you worked at Chili's. Oh, I was a dishwasher at Chili's. Well, is that all you did at Chili's? Well, no. Well, I did a little food prep. Oh, so you did more than just wash dishes. I was like, yeah. I went to food out the freezer. I would separate the food, put it in Lexans or bins, and for the food prep crew, I would also on occasion clean the bathrooms for them, and help sweep the tables and then dust the tables before people started coming in. See, if you see how I just started and I said I was a dishwasher, but if you listen to me carefully, I actually did more things. I did some food prep work, and I also did some janitorial work. That's what we call a composite job. So what I tell people is when you're telling Social Security about the work that you're doing, don't just sugarcoat it. Be detailed. Then the court is going to ask you, why do you feel you can't work? Now, it's really easy to zoom in to the limitations. Oh, I can't stay up late. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. The court is going to give you the opportunity to address that. When they ask you, why can't you work? What they're specifically asking you is what medical conditions that you have that has lasted for 12 months or longer that you believe keeps you from working. So when you're like, oh, I got high blood pressure, and I got the skin rash, I'm like, well, okay, does the high blood pressure affect your ability to work? Well, no. The court doesn't really care about that. I said, does the rash affect your ability to work? Well, no, it's just annoying. The court doesn't care about that. The court wants to know, what is it in terms of what problems do you have that keep you from working? So you need to tell them what diagnosis you have. So you want to tell them what medical condition. Now, you're not a doctor, so don't go in there talking about my L4S1 and my low, and my C4, my C5. No. Tell them what's wrong with you. So you want to say, if they ask you, why can't you work? I've got lower back problems, I've got neck problems, I've got knee problems in my right knee. That is clear cut. And then the court can then say, what do you mean my problems? Well, I got sharp pains in my lower back, I've got a numbing pain in my neck, and my right knee aches all the time. Great. Now, let's start going to the limitations. They're going to ask you, well, how does it limit you? Well, it prevents me from being able to sit for periods of time. What's a period of time? Remember, the court is not in your skin. They're not in your world. So you need to be as detailed as possible. And now here's the other thing you need to be aware of. Not only do you want to be detailed, but bear in mind the medical records needs to support what you're talking about. So when you're breaking it down, make sure you're aware of the fact that the court is going to be looking at your medical records to decide whether or not what you're telling them is the truth. Okay? Then they're going to ask you about your ability to sit, stand, push, pull, crouch, kneel, bend, lift. They're going to ask you if you're taking any medications, if the medications cause you any side effects. Then they're going to want to know about your daily activities. They're going to want to know, are you able to sleep well? Are you able to dust, clean, shop, cook, do laundry? Daily activities like watching TV, going outside, doing gardening, lawn work. Remember, this is the only opportunity that the judge will get primarily it's the only opportunity that the judge is going to have to talk to you about your condition. So you want to educate the judge as much as humanly possible. Then the judge is going to ask you what a typical day is like. Do not gloss over this, because sometimes people will say, oh, I just watch TV all day. Now I want you to pause for a second, because I've had to get on my clients about this. When they say, what's a typical day? Watch TV all day. So you're telling me from midnight to midnight, you just watch TV. You don't eat. You don't use the bathroom. You don't scratch your thigh. You don't read a book. You don't answer the phone. And well, no, that's what they mean. What's a typical day? And a lot of times I get angry with my clients because I have to remind them they are not at the house with you. They want you to fill up that day. Walk them through the day. What's up? Well, I go to sleep about 10 o'clock at night. I usually wake up a few times during the night because I have a hard time getting comfortable due to my back pain. I'm usually up or down a few times. When I do wake up, it's usually around 9, 10 in the morning. I get up It takes me a while to get out of bed, so I'm usually about an hour in the bed before I finally get up. I kind of have to hold on to things when I'm going to the bathroom to take a shower and brush my teeth, because it's hard to stay stable because of my back. I'm usually sitting down if I'm having to brush my teeth. That usually takes me to about 10:30. I'll make a quick breakfast, which is like a bowl of cereal, because I can't really cook because standing in front of the stove hurts my back. After that, I go and I lay on the couch because that's the most comfortable position. I usually fall asleep because the medications make me so tired. So by the time I wake up, it's about 1:30. I get up, I'll make a sandwich and go back to the couch, take some more medication. I'm passed out till about 5. And then about 5 o'clock, I get up. I'll probably microwave me a TV dinner, watch a little TV for about an hour. And then by that time, the medication kicks in again. I'm back to sleep. Now, see how I just walk through that whole day? Because the reality is the judge is not there from the time you wake up in the morning to the time you go to sleep at night. So for those of you who have this burning desire when the judge says, what do you do on a typical day? I watch TV and, read a newspaper. Think about this realistically. They're not asking you to paraphrase what you're doing the whole day. They want you to actually tell them what your day consists of. Walk them down. Because like I said, they're not at your house. So they don't know what you do on a daily basis. Now, I know that's a lot of information that I've provided to you, and I know some of you are probably going back and forth going, okay, but what about this, what about this, what about this? This is one of those times where I tell people, you are the expert on your case. Nobody knows what goes on with you better than you. But sometimes people, going in front of a judge is not a natural act. So if you don't feel comfortable enough to present yourself and present your case in a manner that you won't trip up on your own feet, don't go in there alone. It really is not to your advantage. Now, am I telling you that people can go in there? Am I telling you that you can't win your case on your own without a representative? No, that's not what I'm telling you. I'm just telling you that by the time you applied and you're now going before a judge, you've probably been waiting for about a year, year and a half, maybe even 2 years. Don't you want to present the best case possible? So why leave it to chance? But I hope this video helps you get a better understanding of some of the things that you can expect when you walk through the door.